it was just this moment for me where I realized I had a knee-jerk reaction to earn my screen time. And for me, it came in the form of improv, comedy improv, filling the space, scene stealing my own scene, and begging for the camera to not turn away. I had it ingrained in me, and I was doggy paddling for my life in a way that was not necessary or needed. And that happened pretty quickly. Like in the beginning of the process of doing this, I just had this moment where I was like, probably don't improvise lines about Russ and Daughter's bagels. Nobody wants to hear that.
This is Talk Easy. I'm Sam Fragoso. Welcome to the show. Today, actor Greta Lee. According to Space and Time and I think my producers, the movie Past Lives came out 3 years ago. You may remember it from back then. It's about two childhood best friends torn apart after one family emigrates from South Korea, only to be reunited decades later for one fateful week in New York City. The film received an Oscar nomination for Best Picture and announced the arrival of writer-director Celine Song, who also received a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. But for Lee, the movie's star, it was the culmination of 2 decades working as a struggling actor, a period in which she was often referred to in the press as a scene-stealing performer, a term that I don't think she likes very much, but is apt because of her dazzling work in shows like Russian Doll, High Maintenance, and Girls. Fittingly, her latest turn is in the new film Late Fame, directed by Ken Jones and written by Sammy Birch. Set in present-day Greenwich Village, she plays Gloria, an actor of the stage and screen who harkens back to an era of decadent, larger-than-life cabaret stars like Josephine Baker and Eartha Kitt, the kind of performers that are, frankly, a dying breed, and ones that Lee felt were worth paying homage to. And so that's where we begin today's episode. Later, after the break, we get into her upbringing in L.A. as the daughter of Korean immigrants, the odd jobs she worked trying to make it as an actor in New York, the rejection and joy and financial stress that came with that period, weathering a Hollywood system that, frankly, hasn't historically or sufficiently valued a performer like Lee, and of course, how that all led to the miracle that is Past Lives. Also, I want to add that this episode includes maybe my favorite final 15-20 minutes of an episode this year. And so with that, if you want to watch Late Fame, I believe it just opened in New York City and has plans to expand nationwide August 14th. Enjoy. Greta Lee, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
How are we doing?
I a lot of different conflicting things because I think on the one hand, it marks the longest hiatus I've had from acting.
Is that okay?
It is. It's a great thing and also a weird thing because in the last few years, it's been pretty nonstop and in a way that I'm genuinely excited about. But I think breaks are useful. And I've been spending, I've been doing press for certain things and doing other creative pursuits. I've been writing and I've been parenting and now I'm about to jump back in. So this is a transitional moment for me.
Well, I love to capture someone at a transitional moment.
Maybe you can help me figure out if I'm okay.
I hate to tell you this, but you've come to the wrong place. I'll give it a try. I'll give it a college try.
Yeah.
So let's start with Late Fame.
Yeah.
This film, Late Fame, which is directed by Kent Jones, stars Willem Dafoe, is like very, very important to you.
Yeah.
So I want to start here. Why is that?
It feels like a very precious secret gem that I have, which is a funny thing to say about a movie because it's a very public thing, the way that it operates. It's inherent to
you mean people go into the theater?
You have to see, you share it. But it felt...
Are you reluctant to share it?
No. I was reluctant to share Past Lives, actually. But there are certain, I think, in a similar vein, it felt like something private that we were endeavoring to do. with the movie. And Gloria as a character is someone that, yeah, I treasure and I adore for very specific reasons, but it feels personal. It feels like who she is and what she represents and what the movie represents to me is personal.
So I want to talk about what it represents to you because it's set, I think, in 2025 or 2026. Yeah. And it's about these young kids who've created something called the Enthusiasm Society.
That's right. Yeah.
And they have stumbled upon this old book of poems from a writer played by Willem Dafoe that's kind of been forgotten, that people haven't recognized. And your character, Gloria, is a theater actor who comes in and out of this world just like a tornado.
Yeah.
And she's kind of in the, I'm trying to imagine, like, she's in the spirit of like a Isabella Rossellini.
That's right.
Tell me how you got into the character and like what matters to you now having done it.
I basically think that she is inspired by, or is my homage to a certain type of artist, but specifically a certain type of woman that I have adored and that I fear is now dying out.
Well, and who is that, or what is that?
It's a diva.
Okay.
An actual diva, capital D. The kinds of women, but you nailed it with Isabella Rossellini. I was thinking a lot about Marlene Dietrich. I would say Liza Minnelli, her Sally Bowles. I mean, there are a lot of women who have inspired me as an artist, but I think specifically for Gloria, this type of woman that I want her to continue to exist.
Well, I think she's very much alive and well in this movie. So can we take a look? This is early on in the film.
Yeah.
Your character, Gloria, is, I think this is the introduction to her character in the movie. And she's given a pretty warm greeting by this group of young aspiring writers and their long-lost village poet folk hero played by Willem Dafoe. This is from Late Fame.
How's the play going, Gloria?
Oh, there's never enough financing. One of our key castmates just dropped out to do an episode of some police procedural on network television. It's obscene. I promise I'll let you kids know when we're back on our feet.
We'll all be on pins and needles.
Anyway, I want to hear more about your reading.
Actually, it's an event, right?
Well, Saxberger's giving some serious thought to writing something new. Thinking about it.
And?
Well, sure, why not?
Oh, man.
How was that?
I loved doing this movie. I loved playing her, and I loved doing it with this group. And I was talking to Willem this morning, and was so instantly transported to our time together. And I don't know, sometimes it's almost effortless, and it does feel like magic sometimes when everyone's on board for no reason, seemingly, to try to make something.
Which is funny because this was almost like this close to it not happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
My understanding is Sandra Holder from a lot of things, but Anatomy of a Fall, she was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Then she drops out. And then you get the call. Is this how that goes?
Yeah. Which to me is completely insane as it is, because Sandra, who I love and is a pal, we're not in the same audition rooms together often, so to speak. I mean, we don't audition anymore, lucky for us. But what I'm trying to say is we're so different. And I couldn't believe the pivot that they were endeavoring to make with this. And I kind of couldn't believe my luck because the role I thought was so great. And I thought, well, what about everyone else you're going to go to first before me? So I jumped at the chance.
So when you get to set, how quickly did you feel that thing that we just saw, which is, there's an effortless quality. Everyone's bought into the same idea.
It started with my first conversations with Kent.
Okay.
I was like exploding with ideas about what I wanted her to sound like and hoping that he would agree. And he did. I could have been way off base, but
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the idea of like, I just come off of past lives, and that is such a naturalistic style of acting. And I wanted subconsciously to do something very, very different. And in my body, inhabiting something different. And this was that in spades. And I just said, you know, what are you thinking? What kinds of women are you thinking? Because you could go a lot of different ways. And that's when we started talking about old movies and this older style of acting, even that technically speaking. And we just started, you know, Shanghai Express, and I watched, you know, Marlene's entire canon, which I'd never really done before. And once you stop and you see what that kind of performance is, it's completely wild. It's huge. It's so unnatural, and yet I find it mesmerizing.
It seemed like that came pretty naturally to you.
Oh, thanks. But it was challenging because I can't. It's so easy for them to flip over into like SNL territory with this woman. And we did collectively have to dial it in certain directions at times so she didn't seem like a not real person.
Yeah, because past lives, it is a very naturalistic approach.
I think of it more as supreme restraint. So sitting on and suppressing, whether it's emotion or physicality, and just letting things exist in silence.
So the character of Gloria, this is my read, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. She seems to represent this very like interesting intersection for you because she's an actor who works in theater, which is where you started out. She's part of an old New York that you didn't obviously get to live, but you did spend time in New York, and even that New York is completely gone. One of the earliest things you did was perform Liza Minnelli songs at a mall.
Yeah.
So you're first generation. Your parents met in Seoul, moved to the U.S. in the 1970s. Did they appreciate or encourage like your artistry or what it seems like you were a kid who performed a lot. Did they like that?
Actually, they did because, and it's kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around it. I feel like I have to wade through a lot of confusing territories in terms of like model minority stuff and stereotypes and different expectations because all of it existed. So let me just try. I grew up in a very traditional household. It was a Christian household. There were high expectations. I was the firstborn, so I was the first person in my family to speak English fluently, and I was sort of the gateway, for everything. I remember having to write letters on behalf of my parents to the landlord to like figure out how do we get something fixed for the house, and at a very young age.
How old were you?
As early as like kindergarten, I would say. Or I remember opening up the instructions to a swing set, a play set, and building it myself at a really young age, following the instructions in English, and doing all kinds of things. I was also just talking about how I remember teaching my parents the Star Spangled Banner and helping them study for their citizenship tests. So, it is that thing that I think a lot of immigrants share, and that you grow up fast. You take on adult things quickly.
So that's the traditional part.
That's a traditional part, but layered in with all of that, my mom was a concert pianist, and she went to Ewha University in Korea. It's a very prestigious place, and she is so thoroughly an artist. She paints, she sings, she can do anything. Our joke is she's like a CIA agent. Like we don't understand. Masked in this cloak of like, Korean mom. But there was an appreciation, I think, for my artistic interests. And I think that I was taken seriously, which is amazing. And maybe a little different from some of my other friends who were Asian American, who were discouraged, I think, from pursuing the arts.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw it. And I had other things going on in my family, though, where they were still concerned about what that actually meant. Like, how was I going to survive? I remember even after I'd fully established that I was going to be an actor and I was living in New York, I would still occasionally get phone calls from my dad suggesting I go to, become a prosthetician, which is a quick degree. And he would pitch it to me like, it's the arts, left brain and right brain. It's like sculpture. You can make body parts.
And you responded in what way?
With rage. Yeah. And like a total sense of like, how do you not believe in me? How could you? This is so insulting. And, a real frustration about that. But I understand where he was coming from.
You don't strike me as having a ton of rage.
Really?
But I think you may be masking it pretty well.
I know. I think I might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome to let it out here. I mean, preferably not at me.
No.
But if you need to, I'm here.
Okay. That's good to know.
So you would go and say, wait, like I am going to do this. Like this is something I want to do and have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And some part of him must have thought, well, my wife was a concert pianist and we did come here to do something. I mean, they sacrificed an amount that I think is hard for some people to understand. Like, this is a guy, as I understand, was a doctor in Seoul, came here. He couldn't find a goddamn hospital that would hire him.
Yeah.
Because of his English. And your mother, who, as you've said, was amazing, is this amazing artist and pianist, had to put that on hold.
Yeah.
And I wonder, there's this thing that you said once about your parents. You said, my parents always said that at the end of the day, you only have yourself, whether you like it or not. So be sure to tend to that relationship because that's it.
Yeah.
And I have thought about that quote since the first time I read it. And I kind of understand what it means, but I want to know what it means to you.
Well, it's fully loaded because as I sit with that now, I think what strikes me is like how devastating that is. Because the idea is also you are entirely alone, fundamentally, existentially. And with that, it's requiring you to, like there's a death of something, of letting go, which sounds very bleak, but also reminds me of the Mary Oliver quote of "Tell me what will you do with your one wild and precious life." That sentiment for me is captured in all of that as well. I think because my dad and my mom overcame insurmountable, impossible odds, that has always in the back of my mind put things into a certain perspective, that no one's entitled to anything, but also you are capable of doing anything.
Yeah.
But these are big, weighty things to tell a child. Right? A child who's just like, Mom, I want to be a pop star.
Did you finish your homework, Greta? Also, you are fundamentally alone in this world.
You only have yourself.
Get used to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of.
How did they demonstrate that to you? Like this idea of at the end, it's only you. How do you think they arrived at that wisdom?
How did they arrive at it? I think it's because they and their families survived a war. My dad was born the year the Korean War ended, and had a profound impact on his family in ways that I will never understand. And how did they demonstrate it? It's my dad playing the cello every single night, usually at around midnight, without fail.
And this was in childhood.
So dinner, right?
Yeah.
We go to bed, and then I start to hear the cello go off. Still now, as an adult, if we are ever staying in the same place, if I'm staying over and he's up, he will get up in the middle of the night and play, and it is only for himself. Like, I know that to be true. It is entirely a self-pleasurable act, a ritual for him.
So he's sleeping, then he wakes up.
He gets up and he'll play Ave Maria.
Oh my God.
And terribly. Yeah.
You buried the lead.
Oh, yeah. Were you imagining a prodigy? Were you imagining
I was moved.
fine musicianship? I know. I saw you. I saw your tears well up. But it's moving for me too. It is to see that.
I didn't know he wasn't good.
Yeah, I really got you. Yeah.
That's a real, yeah.
But it's part of it that
Yeah.
he's not good. Because
Yeah, but he's
that
trying to be.
proves that it's not about the product.
And so when you were a kid and then eventually going to high school at Harvard Westlake,
Mhm. I cared about the product.
well, I was thinking, look, there's a list here.
Mhm.
You split time between playing piano.
Yeah.
This is in 90s Los Angeles. Playing piano, studying opera, acting, singing Liza Minnelli numbers at the local mall,
Yeah.
taking modern dance classes, and competing in the Bach Classical Musical Festival,
Mm-hmm.
which I've heard you won. But
Yeah, I did.
I couldn't fact check that.
Oh, really?
But I believe you.
Yeah. I won. I won first place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hard winning this much?
But I didn't feel like, no. It was hard winning that much because I still felt invisible. As a child, one of my major wounds was feeling like no matter what I did, and tangibly, like I could hold a trophy and show that I won something or I was recognized for something, it never felt like enough. I was still ignored or felt like I was missing out, or I always felt like the kid with the raised hand who wasn't called upon in so many different ways.
You said in one interview, the world around me, being Korean and having immigrant parents and being at this private school in LA that was very elite, but feeling always, oh, I can beat you. But beat them at what?
God.
Do you know the what in that now?
Well, of course, I'm going to cringe a little bit hearing that now, but it is a pretty honest reflection of what I was feeling as a youth, as a teenager. I think specifically what I was feeling then was feeling like as an actor or a performer or a singer, I was good enough, more than good enough, but I still wasn't getting the chances that I wanted at school, which then, I don't know, maybe was the universe's way of preparing me for what was going to come after that.
Well, one of the chances at school that you didn't get is Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Can you explain what happened?
To set the stage, this is like the last chance. And there's a sort of understanding that you pay your dues to finally get like a leading role, if you hadn't yet, your senior year. And there's this built-in opportunity. It's an ensemble cast, lots of different roles. And basically, I'm not cast at all. I don't know if it was like a caveat or sort of like, all right, I'm going to throw you a bone, but the theater director at the time then asked if I would play like a kabuki puppeteer, like a new role that they'd invented. So another Asian American actor, a student, and I were asked to be sort of this silent kind of specter of a something. And if you're confused, you should be, because this doesn't exist in the show.
Well, I mean, hard, but the specificity of specter of a something, you would think it recalls, and then you remember that's not in the play.
No, it's not. But I agreed because I just wanted to be in it. This is my last chance to do a show with my friends, and I'd already decided I want to be an actor. But I remember how angry I was.
How did you feel performing it?
I hated it. I hated it, and I was such a good student, and I was so disciplined because remember, outside of school, I was rehearsing and competing and engaged in professional settings, and yet in doing this, I fucked it up on purpose. I think the last night I like dropped the puppets and like threw them, and I mean my tiny 17-year-old frame like holding whatever the props. I remember
kabuki.
the kabuki. I threw them during the performance. I think they dropped. I just like, and I think I laughed, and I don't know. That was it.
Amazing.
Yeah, a small act of rebellion, I guess.
It's amazing to me when I hear this now. I'm like, I can't believe that you were like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll pursue it. Maybe the real question is like,
Why didn't I give up?
yeah.
Yeah.
And was there just some part of you that went, I think they're wrong?
Yeah. There was then. It makes me emotional, and I don't want to cry on the show, but I do think if there's anything that's going to make me cry, it's thinking about.
Sounds like a threat to me.
I know. I'm like, no. I see where you're going with this. I still have a little bit of resistance in really going there, and I think dipping into the pain of what it was like for so long, and my gratitude to this little girl, this crazy girl. I don't understand it, and I look at her, and I want to grab her and ask her, how did you do it? What was it that gave you so much moxie and this crazy confidence that was not coming from anywhere externally? I mean, it was the opposite. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know if we have to get it.
The painful parts of your story, you don't want it to outweigh everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's hard to talk about certain things, what I felt as a child and a young adult, what I felt were certain injustices, and also protect and carve out space for my own joy and my own identity outside of these things that I had refused to let define me. So it's sort of like an unspoken promise that I made with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't break it now.
Mm-mm.
I didn't let that destroy me then. So I can't let it now.
So let's balance it.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a break? And
Okay.
when we come back, we'll talk about what you did.
Great.
It's coming up next for Greta Lee. Whenever I'm getting ready to leave town, like when I'm heading to New York or Aspen for live shows, there's a small ritual before I walk out the door. I water my plants, unplug a few things, and make sure I didn't leave behind my notebook and chargers. It's interesting, though, how much time and attention we pay to the trip itself, but not much time and attention to the time in which we're away. That's changed for me recently over the past year, especially as I've been thinking about listing my space on Airbnb whenever I'm out of town. It gives someone else the chance to experience Los Angeles from a neighborhood that actually feels lived in. It can also help offset the cost of my own plans while I'm away. I like ideas that don't require you to reinvent the wheel or your entire routine. You're already traveling. Listing your space is simply another way to make the most out of that time and help someone else connect with the city along the way. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. August is National Wellness Month, and every year I notice the same thing happening. A flood of advice about what you should buy, eat, or add to your regimen. Personally, I prefer to stick to a routine that works for me. And instead of guessing what my body needs, I'd rather understand what's actually going on beneath the surface. That's one reason I use Function. Through the Function platform, I get access to more than 160 lab tests each year. They measure things like vitamin D and zinc, which plays a crucial role in your immune system. They also measure HSCRP, which can reveal underlying inflammation, or ferritin, which helps explain whether your iron levels might be affecting your energy. For me, it's less about chasing the latest health trend and more about having real information. The results offer a comprehensive view of what's happening inside the body, so you can make informed decisions instead of relying on guesswork. It's one of the simplest ways to take ownership of my health, and one that I recommend people in my life. Check your health the way I do. Function provides 160 plus lab tests for $1 a day and member pricing on advanced imaging. Join at functionhealth.com/talk and use gift code TALK25. Coming back.
Yes.
Even as a kid, you said in one interview, I always wanted to get far away from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And be one of those adults in New York City. So tell me about this period in New York that sounds kind of crazy and also fun and scary and daunting, where you're splitting time between, bit roles and working as a hostess at a few different David Chang restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Is it what you expected adulthood to be?
I remember crash landing into New York, basically, the summer of 2005 with, huge aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
I was like Dorothy in Oz. Like, I was like, here we go. I was the girl at the mall, singing City Lights or Let's Start Spreading the New York, New York.
Wow.
And I found a sublet with a guy who had a trash can company. And I remember locking the door every night to my bedroom because I was scared. And I remember immediately I got an agent through a showcase that I did at Northwestern. So I had that, but I like hit the ground running and I was like, let's fucking go. And I did I did well.
SVU?
SVU. Boom. Got that out of the way.
Mariska Hargitay comes in.
Yes.
You were in a play on Broadway.
On Broadway, did Spelling Bee. I was doing the tour, replaced the original Broadway cast. I really felt, all right.
Things were...
I got it.
They were zooming.
Yeah. But then there was the great humbling of young Greta Lee.
Okay.
For years.
So that's going to be the subtitle of this segment.
Sure.
The great humbling.
The great humbling of
the
young
great
Greta Lee.
Or just Greta Lee?
Soon to be great.
Soon to be great.
Yes.
Imminently great.
This is like a couple auditions a day, so much rejection, close calls, getting pinned. That was the terminology of like, you're on hold, you almost have it, but there are two other girls who were also pinned. Like I remember Gossip Girl was a really big blow
XOXO?
because I thought, I was pinned.
How many times working at Momofuku, all these restaurants, did they throw a goodbye party for you?
Well, we can't be overly to be clear, they were not throwing it for me. Unbeknownst to them, maybe I was staging a sort of
parties like nicknames. Like, good when you do it yourself.
Or like certain employees who we had like a good rapport. They would like send me as a parting gift, some pork buns and like a bottle of Momofuku sake or whatever it was. But several times, a very embarrassing kind of like, goodbye, handkerchief wave, nice to know you. Yeah. And then I'm right back in a few months.
You're going, next time you see me, we'll be on a billboard.
Oh, yeah. Remember this face? Remember this face.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Cut to 3 months later.
It's so embarrassing.
As a hostess at Momofuku, where you were, quote, encouraged to be mean, was that a hard role to slip into for you?
No, it was great. It was so great. Okay, but I have to clarify. I was not explicitly told, of course, to be mean.
You intuited that.
There is no reality in which it is acceptable to tell someone with a straight face, your wait time is 4 hours.
So I walk in.
Yeah.
I know you guys are out of reservations, but do you accept walk-ins?
How many are you?
2, but it can be 1.
I'm sorry, that doesn't even make any sense. Do you know if you are a solo diner?
2,
is your other person
2.
here?
No,
Are they here now? Can I see them? I don't see them.
They're 10 minutes away.
They're 10 minutes away.
And
you can come back when they're here.
Okay, and what do you think the wait time will be? Yeah.
It's going to be 2.5, probably 3 hours.
When the restaurant closes.
Yeah. You can try again tomorrow. I mean, it's really, it was a persona.
Really good.
I had so much power for such a brief window of time. To offset the incredible rejection I was facing on a daily basis, I could then tell a grown-ass man desperate to get in and eat some, whatever it was, spicy pork, rice cake, what have you, and tell him with a straight face, like, basically, get the fuck out of here.
You once compared yourself, when you're doing this, back and forth between acting and working in restaurants, to an asshole trying to be Carrie Bradshaw. I think I would own a house if it weren't for Sex in the City.
Oh, my God. Okay.
How much credit card debt did you go into?
Oh God. It wasn't even the credit card debt so much as the tax, doing your taxes.
Oh my God.
I remember being 27, 26 and doing my taxes and using whatever actor taxes or whatever. There was like a workbook that you filled out and getting to the final amount and seeing the numbers, you owe $14,000. And then immediately going to Craigslist and looking up different job. Like, should I be a bottle girl? Like, should I, those people who walk the streets of New York and ask you, can I talk to you about your hair? And they have these spa packages. I did that for one day.
So were you worried about
money?
Yeah.
All the time.
Okay.
And I'm not going to pretend that I didn't have a lifeline if I was on the streets.
Yeah, your parents were doing well. Yeah.
My dad's a doctor, but I think there was that desperate panic of like, oh my God, how am I don't know how I'm going to do this. The numbers don't add up. I can't.
It's kind of the opposite to all the kids in Late Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the thing in New York, I found in my experience, I'm sure you had this too, where you go, well, we're all young and we're all trying to be artists. And then you elect for some reason to go to a house party.
Right.
And then you walk in and you go, oh no, why did we ever split a bill?
I've said this before, but I remember picking up the tab.
Yeah.
For guys, for friends, being like, yeah, I got this, and then
you got high maintenance.
Thinking about later, yeah.
But also, an early piece that I remember is as the art gallerist in Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opening my own gallery. Are you serious? It's been such a fucking whirlwind. Literally don't have time to breathe. And I'm dirt poor now. It's so sad. Well, you went shopping. Oh no, this is just a tax write-off. All my money has been going to the space and the publicity, and my parents are ready to murder me. But it's just so freeing to be your own boss, I have my own architect. I'm like, where did my youth go? I'm sure.
You said once that getting the part was very exciting, but I also felt like a Make-A-Wish Foundation charity case.
What did I mean by that?
I think because she saw you in a play.
Oh,
and that was it. But I wanted to kind of clear the record because that's on the internet, and Lena's having a moment.
We talk, and we're still over the years. I can't say we had consistently kept in touch, but we're good as far as I know, and we're working on something together. But
she's one of one. We love her.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yikes! Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what it felt like?
No. When did I say that? That's incredible.
It was 2016.
It was 2016 when I said that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so spicy. You know what that was? This was around the time when I really felt like my path was only via a certain kind of person.
I mean, a white woman?
Yeah. You said it, not me, okay?
Yeah,
so
why are you making me do the hard parts?
Yeah.
Why are
Because
you?
I've done enough of the hard parts in my life.
So true.
Yeah. So
what a
now
great
someone
retort.
else do it.
That's honestly, you got me so badly. I don't even know if I can recover. That's true. But you a lot of white ladies.
I think at the time there started to be a point when I was having to hold a lot of different feelings. Feelings of gratitude, undeniable gratitude and appreciation, and also this feeling of I don't know how sustainable this is. I don't know what my actual function is, and I think it started to get to me a little bit.
What did you mean sustainable?
Like what I was in service of. Often I was in service of certain stories, propping up certain types of characters, and feeling like I was like decoration. And usually happy to be so, but also that keenly aware that's all I had.
Right. It wasn't your thing.
It wasn't. And again, it's hard because I was also happy to do it. But I think as I started to get older, and I think also starting having my own children, forced me to feel differently about certain things.
Why do you think that is?
I think that when you are parenting and you are teaching your own child and modeling certain things about empowerment and equity and freedom and possibility and all these things, you can't keep lying to yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
So when did you stop lying?
It was, I think, around the time I had my son, my first son. It started with him, and then by the time I was undeniably a parent and a mother, it felt like it solidified for me a lot of different feelings. And the pandemic, and there was a lot of anti-Asian hate going on, and things that I was experiencing living in a city, alongside, the summer of like total racial reckoning, George Floyd, and my encounter with minor feelings as a text. And it was a very intense, to put it lightly, summer.
There was a profile you did in Kinfolk right at this time you're talking about. It's like a month before the pandemic.
Oh, boy.
The pandemic starts like 2 weeks
Really?
later. It's insane.
Okay. Kinfolk, March 2020. After we meet, Lee has to run to Brooklyn to go to couples therapy with her husband. They're doing great. They just go for maintenance. Then pick up Apollo and Raphael. Quote, my children, for better or for worse, are undeniably 98% of my existence right now. Fair. Then go over Koreatown scripts, then prepare to fly to Europe to film a new television show that she can't yet discuss. It's a jam-packed life, but she is far happier having too much work to do than when she was serving ramen, daydreaming about someone writing a good part for her. One day, she simply got angry enough and tired enough of waiting around to write her own dream role. And now she'll be able to create similar opportunities for other women like herself. She no longer needs to fantasize about becoming the Korean Natalie Portman of her generation. She's her generation's one and only Greta Lee. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, what do you want to talk about in terms of that excerpt?
I love that in this interview, you've oscillated back and forth between like, I like him a little bit. God, not this. But when I read that, I don't know, it brings up, I have a lot of conflicted feelings.
Well, what are your conflicted feelings?
I think when you say that there was a racial reckoning in 2020, when you talk about the violence against your community, the larger Asian community here in the city that we live in, it happens to coincide, I don't think it's a coincidence, with this increase in the industry to quote unquote amplify voices. And it's complicated, and I'm hearing that and I go like, oh, I don't know. I'm conflicted about whether actors should have to be like a model for something. Yeah. And also that you have to make work about ramen or kimchi. There's another profile where they say, that I didn't want to put my culture first and foremost every time. I wanted to just like be in Tron or something like that. And so I don't know. That's my complicated read of it. But I didn't live it.
I think I feel a little bit like, oh gosh, maybe it's heartbreak a little bit, because
Heartbreak over what?
Over the impossible scenario that I was put in and found myself in. And just like, I read this and it's like, yeah, everything's great. I have this and this and couples therapy. My marriage is great. I have my kids and like working on this show. And I love it. Everything's wonderful. But what I know and what I can feel vibrating off of this page even is like doggy paddling furiously for their life, trying to survive, not in like a literal way, I'm fine. But how tumultuous and chaotic and terrifying this moment was for me.
What do you mean?
I did not know how to navigate things that felt unnavigatable.
Yeah.
Friends were getting canceled around me. I was feeling scared for my life. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but I was having experiences just existing in spaces where I, for the first time, felt unsafe and had near misses walking down the street, things happening during this time, while we're also talking about race in a new way in America.
And some kind of progress.
Yeah.
It's coded in a kind of progress.
Yes. It was a hard time for me privately, amongst my family, my friends. It was difficult. And then to try to figure out, this idea of like, do you capitalize on your identity?
Yeah.
I mean, and when you are sort of tricked into feeling like that is all you have too. And
or that people value it.
Yeah.
And in a way that's not capitalistic.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Minor Feelings show.
Yeah.
A24 bought it.
Yeah.
Right? And you're making it, and I believe it's not happening now.
No, it's not.
So that's when you're asking me, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Reading it.
Yeah. But, can I add, though, that I've made a certain peace with certain things not coming into fruition. And for now, Minor Feelings is one of those. And I've talked to Kathy Park Hong about it, too, and we kind of feel similarly. I will be forever indebted to that book and what it did for me. It did change my life. But I can see that was a container for things that I can now inject differently into other things, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't need it in the way that I did then.
In Late Fame, there's a line at the end where Willem Dafoe says, it's probably not a good idea to put your self-worth on a platter for an old man like me. Mm-hmm. But like when you think of that impossible place they put you in, how do you understand it now? Mm-hmm. And how did you move forward from that?
The world keeps shifting and changing. It just does. And I have changed too, along with it. I feel like I am a different person than I was a few years ago in terms of some of this stuff about identity,
politics, all that.
Yeah. My whole family votes completely differently than me. Talk about minor feelings.
You're the only Republican?
Yeah, exactly. No, my husband and I, we are in the minority in our family for the first time. And it is wild. And I'll just leave it at that, Yeah.
Speaking of your kids and all that happened and all that like changed in you once you had them, my understanding is that you have 2 kids, and I want to know, which tattoo do they tease you about the most?
Oh, all of them, but specifically the one on my back. I have the word psychopath in Korean inside of a red heart on my back, and they tease me about that one.
Can I ask what led to getting that tattoo?
I got it after I did Past Lives. It's recent. Yeah.
Oh, so this doesn't sound like a bad decision at all.
Oh, but it was. No one should get a tattoo. When you finish a movie, you need to reacclimate and become you again.
Yeah.
No one should be getting a tattoo. They should do, the tests are like, okay, are you drunk? Are you high?
Yes.
Have you just finished a movie?
And why psychopath? Is that how you felt at the end of making Past Lives?
Yes, and it's a line in the torai means psycho in Korean. But the thing with my kids, it's like their favorite thing to announce.
What do they do?
They're like, my mom has a tattoo of psycho on her back written in Korean. They love telling people that.
Why don't we talk about Past Lives after the break?
Okay.
That's coming up next with Greta Lee. People typically see the final product, not the process. On Talk Easy, that's hopefully the conversation you're watching today. But in any business, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. Building the website, learning how to ship and package your items, and of course, there's marketing to help grow the thing you've created. That's why I appreciate Shopify. If you have an idea, Shopify gives you the tools to turn it into a real storefront without needing to know how to code. Their templates make it easy to create something true to you and tailored to your brand. And if you ever get stuck, Shopify's built-in assistant, Sidekick, is there to help you with the next step. And then, when customers are ready to buy, Shopify Checkout streamlines the entire simple process, making it easier to hear that all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. If you're serious about hearing your first, start your free trial at shopify.com/talkeasy today. You heard that right. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/talkeasy. That's shopify.com/talkeasy. Summer has a way of stretching your schedule. Late dinners, weekends away, nights that end a little bit later than planned. And before everything picks up again in the fall, I've just been trying to get the basics right. And sleep is, well, at the top of that list. Especially all that we put into production, taping every week. A good night of rest helps me process all that I've read and written and, of course, show up more fully for each conversation. That's one reason I've been really happy with my Helix Midnight Luxe mattress. It's supportive without feeling too firm. Stays cool throughout the night, creating the conditions to wake up in the morning and actually feel rested, which for me is no small feat. What I also appreciate is that Helix doesn't just make one mattress. They have more than 20 different models, whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or looking for something softer, firmer, or with extra cooling. They even ship it straight to your door with a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and the Happy with Helix guarantee, so you can really make sure it's the right fit. If you're looking to upgrade before fall gets underway, I start with the one place you spend a third of your life. Go to helixsleep.com/talkeasy for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/talkeasy for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/talkeasy. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying Talk Easy, be sure to subscribe on YouTube or follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. All of this really does help us continue making the program week after week. And with that, I want to thank you in advance for the love and support. Now, back to the show. Coming back, you audition for the part, you don't get it, right, of Past Lives.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes back, they do some rewriting. I think some time passes, and Celine, she said that she kind of figured it out. I want to go to the day on set when you're there, like locking in. Before we play a clip of it, can you tell me about this moment where you're doing everything you've learned in 15 years of acting, and she goes, "Don't do that."
What it was, and she doesn't think this is like a big deal or like she's heard me tell this anecdote, and she's like, "Sure, whatever, Greta." Like, sure, maybe that happened, but it was just this moment for me where I realized I had a knee-jerk reaction to earn my screen time. And for me, it came in the form of improv, comedy improv, filling the space, scene stealing my own scene, and begging for the camera to not turn away. I had it ingrained in me, and I was doggy paddling for my life in a way that was not necessary or needed. And that happened pretty quickly. Like in the beginning of the process of doing this, I just had this moment where I was like, don't improvise lines about Russ and Daughter's bagels. Nobody wants to hear that. You're fine. You're fine. You know? And I have to be clear, you know, for Celine's sake, it wasn't like this big, like, stop, you know, it was just, we don't need that. Let's do that, you know. It was my own sort of moment of understanding.
Can we take a look at the film for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
야! 나영아. 이것도 전생이라면 우리의 다음 생에서는 벌써 서로에게 다른 인연인 게 아닐까? 그때 우린 누굴까?
모르겠어.
나도. 그때 보자.
It still gets me every time. It's a good movie.
You know, everyone has a future there.
Maybe.
What gets you about it?
I can watch that movie as an audience member. And I can really observe from the outside, like what the movie, what it means to people. I've also been lucky enough to just hear firsthand from people in my life and also complete strangers telling me, so many people. So it's, it's overwhelming to watch and to appreciate. And oh God, I'm also just so, the kind of gratitude that feels like a gasp of air. Like, thank God for so many reasons. Yes, personally, and what it did for me, but what it means for us that, God, there's so many bad things to say about, not just the world, like about our industry, about whatever. But movies, man, movies, and what it can do. What I like, there is some real currency in it, and it. I just feel really lucky that I have the privilege to be a part of it, but also like the sense of purpose that it gives me and what I'm doing.
The vulnerability of that movie, like I was rewatching it this week, and it's so painful.
It is.
And I read this thing where you were like, I think Celine said it, that when you first saw it, you were like, please.
Don't show it to anybody.
Does this have to come out?
Yeah.
Did part of you mean that seriously?
Yeah. It's so uncanny to shoot something and feel while you're shooting it that it was going to be something, I don't know, important, something meaningful, something. And
but
then
something
to
was
see
happening.
Something was happening, but you are, you can only be so hopeful. And after so many years, you are protecting yourself and you're prepared for the worst. And this felt like it's just too unfair. Don't do this to me. I cannot treat this like everything else I've done and sort of let it, I don't know, face a certain fate that I feel like it doesn't deserve.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought everyone was going to hate it. I've said this, but you know what? The first time anyone saw it at Sundance, at the end, all I could hear at that time, it sounded like people were getting up to leave because people were shifting in their seats and reaching for their bags. And I was convinced, truly, that's it. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit about this thing that I was so certain that people would care about or that I care about. And then a few minutes passed. And it was because people were crying and people were reaching for tissues and covering up their feelings. And I could not believe it. I was so convinced that we were dead, like that we had failed. And it felt bigger than a sort of humiliation or like a failure. It just felt too much to lose, like what that meant.
Because there's so much of you in it.
Yes, but I am not Nora. And I don't want to make light of the fact that for me, finally, a person like me was in a role in a kind of movie that I wanted to watch myself and had wanted my whole life. Mm-hmm. Finally. I mean, in the West, in America, in Hollywood, finally that was happening. And if it didn't work, where would that leave us? And what would that mean? How many steps back would that result in if this did not work? So there was so much on the line, and there was so much that was put forth. And yeah, I couldn't believe, like, when we got up on stage after that moment, and that pivot, that mental pivot of like, no, oh my God, and everybody is crying was one of the most confusing and spectacular moments of my life.
I don't think it's surprising, though, given what we've talked about today. How could you not have had that defense mechanism?
Yeah.
Like hearing that young kid who was more than qualified to be in Into the Woods for a theater director or whatever, the professor, to like make up a role for kabuki puppets. How does that person not think they're not grabbing tissues? They're leaving. They're leaving the theater.
Of course it hurts.
Is it resolved, I guess, is what I wanted. Do you feel in some ways, maybe it's the two kids, maybe it's because it's gone so goddamn well since. I don't know. Like, where are you at with that?
I don't know. It's not done. Whatever that is. There's so much work to be done on multiple fronts. And it's factual, it's statistical, you know. If I were better prepared, I would have the actual numbers, the current numbers, but, you know, the number of female-led movies, you know, not just for women, for people of color. And I think I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I sit here today and I'm asking, like, are we done with that? Are we done with talking about people of color and you know, wage disparity and complete lack of opportunities? Are we done? Does no one want to hear this anymore? I am asking, I'm wondering, you know, should we no longer talk about, you know, mixed race families? Should we refer to them as mixed cultural families? Like, are we there? We might be. I think I'm trying to say I'm just starting, and that can feel exhausting and scary and like a lot.
Yeah.
And because of things that we've discussed, it's been made clear to me that the idea of spokesperson can be a trap, can be impossible, can be brutal, and can be so just unfair.
Well, I hope that one of the takeaways from this conversation is that it really, it's not even that it shouldn't just fall on you.
Yeah.
Which obviously it shouldn't. It literally can't, because it won't. The tides will not turn. Things will not change. You cannot do it. There has to be some way for this to be a collective.
Yeah.
When I see past lives, I can see the way that when I watched Late Fame, I was thinking about Rossellini. Of course, I'm watching past lives and thinking, you're clearly inspired a little by like a Charlotte Rampling in 45 years.
Yeah. More than a little bit.
Yeah. Two modern films and like a naturalistic performance. And I know you had this kind of anxiety when the film played at Sundance about how people took it in and how they watched it and if they felt anything. And I want to know, because we've talked about her so much, what did your mom think of the film?
I think in the way that only she can articulate, and she basically was like, this isn't your movie, it's my movie. She told me explicitly, she said, oh, you think you're Nora? I'm Nora. But it makes me cry because it's true. And I definitely was not expecting to hear that.
From her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that really, for me, was the perfect end to an experience. I don't think I could have ever asked for anything more than that. From hearing that from my mom.
When you heard that, did you go, oh, I can see how you see yourself in that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And what's lost and what's gained. And
The ghosts of your life. It relates back to the thing we were talking about, my parents' advice to me of like, you only have yourself.
yeah.
It's always going to be the relationship you have between you and yourself. And yeah, I see that with my mom.
What do you mean?
Her life and her life experience are things that I will never know. I will never, ever have access to.
Her being a concert pianist back home.
Yeah. Everything that was put to the side, the dreams that died to make space for the new ones, those like impossible goodbyes, and possibly an extreme longing that will be forever unresolved, and living with that with joy. I mean, that I can't comprehend that. But I see that in her when she said something along those lines, when she said, this is not your movie, it's mine.
It's also perfect. Like, it's so sincere and also really
Like,
funny.
Yeah. And like a little petty and a little
100% petty.
Yes, I love it.
But
I
also
love it.
Also because why would they wouldn't admit that if you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
If the movie wasn't good, she wouldn't be like, yeah, that's me. She's like, the movie's really good.
Yeah.
My daughter's in it. It's a little bit me.
It's like not even a little bit. It's all me.
If the movie was terrible, she wouldn't.
That's true.
What did you say to her?
I cried on the spot. It was on the phone.
Oh God.
Oh God, it was terrible. I don't want anyone to ever experience this with their own mother or any parental figure, to have your parent call you and tell you that they're still crying because of, the movie or something they'd experienced. It had been days and they're still thinking about it. And to tell me that, yeah. There wasn't a long conversation after that. She told me that, and we had to get off the phone.
Yeah.
There really wasn't that much to say.
And it was on the phone, so did you ever have a in-person talk about it?
Not like that. I think that's one of those things you cannot really say with the real physiological intimacy of being face-to-face with your offspring.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I can't pretend to have a clean resolution for this episode.
You don't have any unresolved jokes written on those pages over there?
No, I have one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
In thinking of your family.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to tell a little bit of a story together before we go.
Okay.
During the Korean War, your grandfather had polio.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't fight, which meant that he was enlisted to do... you can tell this part of it.
He was enlisted to be the painter, the billboard painter at the army base.
And of movie posters, right?
Among other things.
Yeah.
The movie posters.
But the thing I've been... when I read this, I lost it, which is not surprising because I cry easily. Is your grandfather is painting these billboards.
Yeah.
For like coming attractions. And it's like movie stars like Katharine Hepburn and Clark Gable and Elizabeth Taylor and Greta Garbo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like you, now having moved back here after never wanting to be an adult in LA, like you've probably had a moment with your two kids in the back seat. I'm assuming they're not sitting in the front seat. Where they've gone like, oh my God, that's my mom on a billboard.
Yeah.
And I cannot get past the like familial circularity of that like, I don't know. Do you see yourself in some way closing like this loop that he began back in the 1950s?
I've never thought of it that way. I I hope so. I mean, I certainly hope so. It's the least I can do. Right. Jesus. It's the least I can do.
Yeah.
For him and for my family, of course. If he could be here, if he could see, everything that's happened. But yeah, the billboards. That is the actual science fiction. I can't even picture what
Yeah.
would that be like and what he would say to me.
And beyond the billboards, like, I don't know, like, what does that mean to you in this moment?
I don't know. But what that means for me and being able to say, I don't know, is it means I'm free. I am able to say that I don't know and that's okay. And like, that's great. After so long of feeling like, I'm like, yeah.
You get to not know.
I get to not know. And that is exciting. It's a privilege, I think.
You did start this interview by saying that you're in a moment of transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we figure anything out?
We did figure some things out. You're good, Sam. This is like, oh my God. Like, wow. I think that it's hard for me to put into words like what it is I've learned, but I think it has to do with like your story. It really does only belong to you. And even when it feels like it's pulled out and taken away from you and shape-shifting into something else and represented to you, that it's still just your own story.
I hope you know, and I hope you have felt that I'm really grateful that you decided even to share some of it or part of it here. It means a lot to me. I'm so glad you don't know what the hell you're doing next. And I thank you for all the time.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Greta Lee. Thank you for watching Talk Easy. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen or watch. You can also leave us a review on Apple, drop us a comment on Spotify, and of course, you can follow us on social media at Talk Easy Pod. I'll see you back here next Sunday.